Hi everyone, it's Bryan Barron. I'm the Director of Skincare Research at Paula's Choice Skincare. I'm assuming you know the brand if you're on our channel. If you are new to the brand, welcome. I have not been on YouTube for a while, and this is our live Q&A session. So if you are watching, I invite you to send in your skincare questions or cosmetic industry questions, whatever's on your mind about beauty, and I will do my best to answer them for you. For those who may not know who I am or what I do, I've been working with Paula Barron, the founder of Paula's Choice, for over 17 years. We have co-authored several books together. We have researched and edited side by side for years. We talk to various cosmetic chemists, regulatory experts, toxicologists, industry insiders who prefer to remain anonymous, but they are great sources of information for us, and it is all so that we can continue to bring you the most factual, research-based information. It only takes about 30 seconds of shopping for cosmetics to find out there's just a ton of misinformation out there. Not only that, but there are now more than ever so many brands and voices out there that are telling you one thing and another, and a lot of you, you're probably nodding in agreement, are wondering what's true, who can I trust, who really has the right information. I'm here to tell you that we may not always have it completely right, but we do our damnedest to try to make sure we are looking at the latest research and talking to other experts in the field so that we can bring you the most reliable information so you can make better decisions about what to use to make yourself gorgeous. So let's see, what else can I tell you about me? I do not live in Seattle anymore. Seattle is where I am right now. That is where Paula's Choice Skincare is based. I moved with my husband and our little dude, our little boy, to the mid-Michigan area in the fall of 2015. We decided to raise him there closer to my family, and he has lots of cousins that are around the same age that he gets to grow up with, and it's just a nice small town, definitely small town compared to Seattle. I find myself coming back to Seattle and I'm looking up at the tall buildings like, ooh, look how big that is, and it's like 8 stories. Anyway, so that's where I am. I still work for the company, still researching, still writing. Paula and I have recently joined forces in a more strong way with our incredible product development team. We have some very exciting products in the pipeline for you. I can't get into specifics, but just know that you will be happy. We are looking at various ways to improve our existing products to give you an even better experience, sometimes taking into account, well, what's the latest research on this group of ingredients, and then how can we incorporate those into existing products so that our customers who have come to love these products will get even better results, but still maintain what you love about the current formula. It's always a bit of a push-pull because there's new research coming out on the regular about new ingredients, different technologies. We want to be able to take advantage of that, so we're constantly giving you the best products, but we don't want to take away what you've come to love about, especially some of our most popular products, our exfoliants, our serums, our eye cream. Who knew our eye cream would be such a success, but people love it. Our Omega Serum is doing fantastically well. The new Skin Perfecting 8% AHA lotion. I don't know what took us so long, other than I think we have a natural fondness for BHA, so our AHA sort of became like the stepchildren, so to speak. But now we have an 8% AHA lotion for your face, along with the 2 AHAs in our Resist line, the 5%, the 10%, and then we have the 10% AHA body lotion. So exfoliation is a huge part of what sets Paula's Choice apart from other brands. Not that other brands don't offer these types of exfoliants, but we have the range, the effectiveness that I think is very unique to the industry. So, any questions, Allie?
Yeah, Nora Banfi asks, how should I treat cystic acne without also drying out my skin while treating it?
First of all, I'm so sorry that that's the type of acne you're dealing with. It is, without question, the most intensive, often painful, potentially damaging to your skin type of acne to deal with. Probably not telling you anything you don't already know. This somewhat sad truth about cystic acne and skincare is that skincare, even anti-acne skincare, can only do so much for that type of acne. So in terms of not drying out your skin, of course you want to avoid any acne products that are alcohol-based, and by alcohol I mean SD alcohol, which is denatured alcohol. Avoid peppermint, menthol, fragrance, even if it's essential oil fragrance. Those can be especially damaging to skin because they're so volatile. There are essential oils out there, just as a quick tangent, there are essential oils out there like tea tree oil that have properties that can help improve acne-prone skin. However, along with those good constituents of that oil, you're getting a lot of the bad stuff. Lavender oil, same thing. Lavender oil has research showing that it can help acne-prone skin, but there are chemical components that make up lavender's fragrance that are irritating for skin. The problem is there's no way you can separate the good from the bad. So when you see a product that has lavender oil and it says, oh, this is great for acne, you're getting all of that, what makes lavender oil, some being good for skin, some being bad for skin. We only want you to use the good ingredients on your skin. So I get that there is definitely a stronger emotional pull with natural ingredients. Who doesn't want to pick up a product and be able to understand what it is they're putting on their skin? You know what lavender is, you may not know what polyglycerol 10 ricinoleate is. I mean, and it kind of sounds scary, doesn't it? Cystic acne almost always needs to be a combination of gentle, effective skincare, which would include a cleanser, a leave-on BHA exfoliant, and a product medicated with benzoyl peroxide. Cystic acne, I would suggest starting at a 5% strength of benzoyl peroxide, a 2% strength of salicylic acid for over-the-counter products. You'll want to, of course, use daily sun protection that has a broad spectrum SPF 30 or greater. And then you're going to want to find a really good dermatologist who is adept at handling this type of acne and would put you on a combination of oral and topical medications that will really help keep that under control. With cystic acne, the name of the game is staying ahead of what's happening so that your cystic breakouts don't get to the point where they're causing permanent damage to your skin. Don't just suffer with cystic acne. Don't keep trying product after product hoping that the next line will work, or thinking that if I just spend more money, that's the trap I fell into with my acne, will improve things. There are good and bad products in all price ranges. I'm not saying that there isn't a time or a place to spend a little bit more on skincare, but cystic acne absolutely needs medical help. Even if you are only experiencing those types of breakouts once per month, such as with your cycle, you'll want to have something at the ready to deal with that, because chances are skincare is only going to do so much.
Uri Fenn asks, can you get your skin back to quote-unquote normal if you have thinned it out because of strong acid peels?
But that is a concern. You can. It will be harder if during the time you were doing those acid peels you weren't good about sun protection, because that's a double whammy. Those peels are removing the uppermost layers of skin that, as we get more and more sun damage, those uppermost layers of skin tend to thicken, and to some extent, very much like a callus on your foot protects it while you're walking, so that that skin that's constantly rubbing is not causing pain or irritation. That's sort of what that thickened layer of dead, dull skin does. It just doesn't look pretty. So yeah, you want to use AHA or BHA exfoliants or the occasional peel to get rid of that so that you have smoother, fresher looking skin, but that new skin is going to be more vulnerable to sunlight, to UV light exposure. Always remember, it's about UV light as in daylight. The sun does not have to be out for you to incur damage. And in fact, it can almost give you a false sense of security to not wear sunscreen on cloudy days because you're thinking that the cloud cover is enough, or all you're doing is walking from the parking lot to your office and maybe out for a quick coffee in the middle of the day. That UV light exposure adds up over time. It accumulates, and then one day you start seeing things on your skin that you're wondering, you know, how did that get there? Where did that brown spot come from? How come I have that deeper wrinkle there? You know, why does my skin have a more leathery texture all of a sudden? What changed? That's accumulated sun damage starting to come through, and it can happen as early as your 30s in terms of when you start seeing that. I think I totally got off track as to what the question was. Can you bring me back?
They're wanting to know if skin can get quote-unquote back to normal after you've thinned it out because of strong acid peels. Yes,
okay. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry about that. So yes, make sure your daytime skincare routine includes that broad spectrum sunscreen, SPF 30 or greater. You want every other product in your routine to contain what we call barrier replenishing ingredients so that you can rebuild those substances like cholesterol, ceramides, glycosaminoglycans, glycerin in the uppermost layers of skin so that it retains that smoothness and softness. My two favorite Paula's Choice products for doing that are our Resist Advanced Replenishing Toner, which is a really soothing, milky liquid. You can put it on with your fingers, kind of like splash it on, rub it in, or you can use a cotton pad, which is what I do. The other product would be something we came out with fairly recently, and that is our Resist Omega Plus Complex. That's a lotion-styled serum that is really rich in essential fatty acids, and those essential fatty acids are the backbone of smooth, healthy, intact skin. You start giving your skin those replenishing ingredients on a regular basis, and the barrier, the surface, will start getting stronger. It will become less prone to experience moisture loss, less prone to experience dehydration. You'll see less dullness, less incidences of flaky skin. You'll love it. So that would be that's a very long way, and I hope it was helpful, of saying yes, you can. You know, we're not talking like 60-70% glycolic acid at a pH of 2. Or you've taken your skin down to a state where it's red and oozing and raw. In that case, don't talk to me, talk to a doctor.
Super A Queen B is asking if we would ever come out with a pH balanced bar soap.
You know, probably not. I know that bar soaps and bar cleansers to some degree are still having a moment, and you've got your classic soap-free bar cleansers like Dove, which is actually fairly gentle because they've loaded it so much with a process that's called super fatting that makes the soap very, very creamy. Even if you have a bar cleanser that technically isn't a soap, meaning it doesn't contain ingredients like tallows or lard type ingredients, I know, kind of icky, potassium or sodium stearate type ingredients, which I'm pretty sure is what Clinique uses in their classic bar soaps. You still, even with a soap-free bar cleanser, you still have the issue of the ingredients that keep the bar cleanser as a bar as opposed to a liquid. They can leave a residue on skin, and over time that residue can build up. You feel it. I'll give you an example. The hotel I'm staying in doesn't have a liquid hand wash in the rooms. They give you a bar soap. I read the ingredients. It actually reads a lot like a water-soluble cleanser, almost like a Dove Beauty Bar that I mentioned earlier, but when I wash my hands with it, I have a hard time getting all of that soap feeling off, no matter how long I rinse, and then I find myself drying my hands more aggressively to get that filminess off. And then, of course, you know, right now, like, my hands look like crap. They're just really all dried out and dehydrated looking. So don't stare. Yeah, it's just not something that Paula's Choice would do. We have some incredible water-soluble cleansers in the works, and one launching soon that I think a lot of you are really going to love, particularly for removing makeup, but no bar cleansers in the works.
That brings us to another question from Matt Halsey. He's asking any new products coming up this year. Can we do any teasers?
Can we do any teasers?
We have a couple that are coming out in a couple weeks that I think we've already kind of
mentioned,
so I think we can talk a little bit about them.
So those of you who followed our line for a while know that in our Resist Anti-Aging collection, the dark blue, which is Resist from normal to dry skin, we had a daytime moisturizer for a long time called Cellular Defense SPF 25. That was discontinued. There were various reasons for that, part of which was simply the fact that it had become a dated formula, and we knew we could do better. So it was still a good product. We knew we could do better. I think we did do better. We are coming out with Resist Skin Restoring Moisturizer. And this launches next month. It has SPF 50, 5-0, very exciting. It is a non-mineral sunscreen, but this is important. Of course it's broad spectrum, of course it has antioxidants, or it wouldn't be Paula's Choice Skincare. This particular sunscreen, panel tested, better than any other SPF we've formulated, which is remarkable. If I'm not mistaken, I think it got a 97, or Ali, you might know, 97 or 98% approval rating from the people who tried it. We always, when we get to the point in product development where we have a prototype that we're happy with, you know, it's tested well in-house, but we want to know what a select group of people who have the skin type and concerns the product is designed to address, what they think of it. So we recruit at least 50 people and send them samples of the product and instructions for use, and then, you know, we give them a certain period of time to use the product, and we let them tell us what they think. And unless the product gets a certain approval rating, we don't go forward with it. And if it falls below that rating, even if we really like it, we take into account what you told us you didn't like about it or how it could be better, and then we go back to the drawing board. And sometimes we do that 2 or 3 times until we get to the point where, all right, we love it, or we still love it, you love it, or at least the majority of you love it, and we're going to go ahead with it. You know, it's passed all the requisite testing, and it's ready. It's ready for prime time. So the Resist Skin Restoring Moisturizer SPF 50 is coming up a little bit later in the year. We are also launching an eye gel. Doo-doo. Cool little tube, special applicator. It feels cooling and soothing without being irritating. We didn't do any trickery like sneaking in some mint or menthol that no one's ever heard of. We don't do that. It's a lightweight, soothing formula, little optical blurring going on. I'm wearing a variation of it now, so if I look younger to you, that's why. I think it's kind of a cool product. If you like our anti-aging eye cream, the first product we came out with, this is a radically different texture. We really created it for those people who want a lightweight gel type product. We are also still working diligently, and I believe this has come up before a few times. We are working on an eye cream for use during the day that will have sun protection. We hear you. We know that that's important. Traditionally I use the Resist Anti-Aging Eye Cream morning and night, although I put on a very thin layer of it in the morning, and then I follow with my SPF. But when we do have this eye cream with SPF that we've been working on, this is just it's been a tough product to get right, because we really want to create something special and versatile and that is going to work under, you know, I could go on and on and on about it. But when we have that, that's what I'll start using around my eyes during the day. Those are the exciting launches.
We did get a question about that, the new SPF 50 from Christopher Lasley. He says
there's no white cast.
There's no, yes. He's worried that it's not specifically for dry skin because he's heard that it's very lightweight. Any insights? It
is a lightweight, creamy texture. It tested very well with our panelists who identified as having dry to very dry skin. You know, with anything though, you're going to want to experiment for yourself and see what you think. Part of how it's going to end up feeling, of course, is going to depend on what else you put on your skin prior to sunscreen. And as a reminder, sunscreen's always the last product, skincare product, you put on during the day. I mean, maybe somebody with very dry skin will want to put on a thin layer of our one of our serums. ahead of the sunscreen, or the moisture renewal oil booster, you could put that on ahead of the sunscreen. I like using at least 2 products during the day that are going to give me not just sun or UV protection, but also a nice boost of antioxidants. So I kind of see that as win-win. If you happen to find this new skin restoring SPF 50 isn't moisturizing enough for you, I don't think that'll be the case. But if it happens for you, put on a thin layer of one of our serums before that, and you'll be getting even more great ingredients on your skin and bringing that level of moisturization and comfort up to where I think you'll be even happier.
And maybe even the omega.
The omega complex, yep, that would be great.
What will help get rid of acne scars, asks Kevin DiCarlo.
It always depends on the type of scar you're talking about. If you are talking about a true acne scar, meaning that you have like an indentation, circular indent or ice pick like mark in the skin, that really isn't something that skincare can help. Skincare can help improve the texture of skin, and of course, isn't it funny how it keeps coming back to sun protection? But daily sunscreen use will help prevent the further destruction of collagen and elastin that will, left unchecked, that will make that ongoing destruction will make that scar look even worse. There are options, non-surgical options, that you can discuss with a cosmetic dermatologist. I was just reading about a new type of hyaluronic acid filler. I believe it's made by the same company that does Bellatero filler, and it is a hyaluronic acid filler specifically designed for injecting into depressed scars on the skin. And the before and after results I saw were pretty darn impressive. It is not a permanent fix. However, it seems like with each new generation of these hyaluronic acid fillers, they're letting them last longer and longer. I don't know how much that type of filler costs. I do know that fillers in general are priced by how much is needed for your particular area or concerns. So obviously filling one depressed scar is going to cost less than if you have 3 or 4 that you want taken care of. There's also peels and other in-office procedures that a dermatologist can do that will help improve the look of that type of scarring. If what you're talking about is the pink, red, or tannish brown mark that's left over from where a pimple used to be, and I get those too. Thankfully I don't break out like I used to, but it still can happen. That is known as post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation in medical circles. A lot of people just call them scars or post-acne marks. The good news is that technically speaking, it's not a scar. It isn't permanent. It will fade on its own eventually, but for some people it can take up to 2 years. No, there are certain things that I wouldn't mind doing for 2 years, waiting around for one of those marks to fade, isn't one of them. So what you can do to help fade it faster, say it with me, sunscreen. That's number 1. Using an AHA or BHA exfoliant to continually improve skin texture and to some extent skin tone can help as well. I also really like vitamin C and niacinamide. I have personally found that those have really helped fade the look of those marks much faster. Particularly, the darker your skin tone is, the more you're going to get, the more that those post-acne marks are going to be influenced by melanin, which is skin pigment. So yours are going to look more tan to brown, whereas someone like me, who is just pretty dang light, my marks tend to look more pink to red. But occasionally they will get some brown in there, and I've really found that a high-strength vitamin C product along with the sun protection works wonders. So those would be my top type picks, like our Resist 10% Niacinamide Booster, Resist C15 Super Booster. I also really like our Resist Anti-Aging Clear Skin Hydrator to use. Not only is a great lightweight overall facial moisturizer for normal to oily skin prone to breakouts, but that also has ingredients in it that can help fade the look of those post-acne marks.
Saif asks, I'm currently using our clear your clear Azelaic acid treatment product. However, it has a creamy texture like a moisturizer.
Yep.
Does that mean this would have to go on after an essence or a serum?
Ideally, yes. And for those watching who are wondering what is this product, it is a special product that we formulated. It is not permissible for us to sell it in the United States or Canada, and I believe also Australia, but it is permissible in the European Union and several of the countries in Asia where Paula's Choice is distributed. Reason being is because there are certain ingredients we can use here to address acne and related concerns that are not permitted for use in other countries, but go figure, azelaic acid is. Azelaic acid is available in the States and Canada by prescription, but not over the counter. There's your little lesson. So yes, essences are typically thinner, they're more fluid, they can be toner-like. Our Resist Brightening Essence kind of has like a fluid gel texture. The general rule is to layer products in order from the lightest to the heavier texture. If all of the products that you're looking to layer are roughly the same consistency, then you just need to experiment and layer based on what feels best to you.
Yeah, she followed up with another question about if she should apply the brightening essence before or after the vitamin C booster.
Isn't that brightening essence awesome? So the vitamin C booster has a thinner texture than the brightening essence. Not by much, but it's thinner. So if we're being kind of strict about that, then I would say put the C15 booster on first, followed by the brightening essence.
Christy Bear asks, may I know the best treatment for dark skin around the mouth? I also see some whiteheads forming. Currently trying out vitamin C booster with triple action dark spot eraser. Am I doing it right?
Those are the products that I would definitely steer you towards for brown spots, discoloration. Hydroquinone, of course, being widely considered the gold standard, and it has a long history of safe use. Sunscreen, sunscreen, sunscreen. Sound like a broken record here. And I'm glad that you're doing that. The darkness around your mouth is something you may want to address, or actually should address, with your general practitioner or your dermatologist. It could be a symptom of what's called PCOS, or polycystic ovary syndrome, particularly if you are noticing other issues on your body, such as increased hair growth, hair loss on your head. You're getting less hair here, but more hair where you don't want it. Most men can identify with that as we get older. Or you are breaking out more. Obviously, because it's related to ovaries, this is something that only affects women, but it is something that you can treat or control, but you do need your doctor's assistance for that. So not knowing the details and all of your history, I would urge you to get that checked out. And if it's ruled out, then chances are what you're dealing with around the mouth is just discoloration from sun damage, or potentially hormonal influences. And topical products, the ones we discussed earlier, along with sunscreen, are brilliant for treating that. Then you can also talk to a dermatologist after using those topicals for maybe 2-3 months. If you're not getting to the level of improvement that you'd like, or you're not seeing any improvement, there are in-office light-based procedures, and your dermatologist can also prescribe stronger hydroquinone products that should be able to get you over that hump.
Beverly Saylor asks, what causes products to pile or ball up? Are there products that shouldn't be used together that cause this?
Oh, that's a good question, Beverly. There isn't, the frustrating part is that there isn't a hard and fast rule. I can't say, look for this, and if you see this combination of ingredients, you know it's going to roll on you, and stay away from that. I wish it was that simple. I have found that the rolling and balling issue tends to occur most often if you're using multiple products that contain high amounts of silicones. That is not to say that silicones are bad ingredients. We certainly don't think so. The research doesn't indicate that. We use varying amounts of silicones in several of our products, and they're pretty much common throughout the skincare and hair care industry. It's really only when you are using a lot of it in one product and then layering it with another product that I just think, from a chemical standpoint, from a chemistry standpoint, certain ingredients like that don't play well together. They don't mix well into each other. And so when you've got that layer on your skin and then you put an incompatible product on top, rather than them kind of meshing and mixing together, like when you're making a cake in your KitchenAid stand mixer and it's nice, you know, the batter gets to the point where it's smooth and no lumps. That's not happening with this. They're kind of fighting each other, they're repelling each other, and then eventually, in their attempt to mix together, they start balling up. Really, there's really no way around that other than to separate the use of those products. So if you happen, it usually just occurs with 2 products in a given routine. So that's helpful to know, because the solution is to use those 2 products separately. Use one in the morning and use one at night.
Farnoosh Mansour asks, is there any under eye cream for dark circles?
Oh, there's a ton of them that want you to believe they're going to help with dark circles, and actually a lot of them can to an extent. So I think the most honest answer is there are eye creams for dark circles, they just don't work as well as they often claim they will. There's no eye cream, I wish this wasn't the case, there's no eye cream that's going to eliminate dark circles. But a nice moisturizing eye cream, something that's more emollient and substantive on the skin, if the eye area is dry, drier than the rest of your face, and that's true for a lot of us because there are fewer oil glands in this region. So even though like my nose can be an oil slick, my under eye area is definitely drier. Just moisturizing that area can help that under eye darkness look better. And then if you're using a product that has cosmetic brightening ingredients in it, such as the mineral pigment mica, that can help reflect light away from this naturally shadowed area, which can make it look brighter. There are ingredients like various forms of vitamin C, licorice root, certain plant extracts that can help to a certain extent to lighten that discoloration. But because there are many factors behind what creates dark circles, sun damage can make them look worse. Sun damage for some people can be a cause of under eye darkness. Some people are born with dark circles and it's genetic, and it's just something that is part of their family DNA, so to speak, and there's only so much you can do. There are in-office laser treatments, not many, and there hasn't been much improvement over the years in contrast to some other areas where laser and light technology has moved ahead quite a bit, that can help with dark circles. But again, the latest research I've seen indicates that the improvement is only about 20 to 30%, which most people with dark circles wouldn't think is all that great. It's better than nothing. But unfortunately, the advice today is eye creams can help to a point, protecting the skin around your eyes from daily exposure to sunlight, and that can include protection from wearing, not protection from sunglasses, but wearing sunglasses. That can help a lot as well. And then finding and using a good brightening type concealer. I think the Becca brand, which you can find at a lot of Sephora stores, I think Ulta, several Ulta stores carry the Becca line. It was recently acquired by Estee Lauder, so it'll probably have its distribution increased even more. But they make some wonderful high coverage concealers for dark circles. So does Laura Mercier, but I would give Becca the edge because theirs tend to have those brightening ingredients, so you get that nice luminosity for further reduction in the look of dark circles.
Daniel Miguez says, "Hey Bryan, you're my favorite.
Oh, thank you.
What are your thoughts on powdered vitamin C products that are meant to be added to moisturizers and serums?"
You can hold vitamin C, which in most cases is pure ascorbic acid. There's variations on that, but let's assume we're talking about ascorbic acid. That's what I tend to see in powder form. If there is no water in that powder mix, and there usually isn't, that can be a good way to keep the ascorbic acid stable. I'm not a big fan of buying a vitamin C powder and then just mixing it into any old product, because it can be tricky to know how much vitamin C you're getting just by that. Because I mean, what is an eighth of a teaspoon equivalent to 10% vitamin C? Are you getting more? Are you getting less? You don't know. So I prefer a product like our C15 booster as an example, where you know you're getting 15% vitamin C. So if you're using it on its own or you're mixing it into another product, you're still getting 15% concentration of vitamin C. That is harder to deduce from a powder, particularly if you're just like buying something in bulk from a website that, you know, kind of the, I guess you'd say the whole concept of DIY skincare. I mean, I guess, yeah, I'm not... Have you tried it? Do you like the results? If you are seeing good results and you're not seeing any signs of irritation, your skin isn't feeling dry, tight, sensitive, sunburned without the redness is a way that I often describe how using too much of those types of ingredients on skin can sometimes feel, then sure, why not? Personally, though, I prefer a pre-mixed product that is more... There's just so much more a chemist can do in terms of calibration, stability, efficacy, that it's just harder to get from a bulk powder where you're adding it to any number of products.
DLL6384 asks,
Sounds like a Star Wars robot.
I've read that sleeping on your side or stomach can contribute to the formation of fine lines and wrinkles.
It can!
I have the hardest time sleeping on my back.
Me too!
Any suggestions?
Valium? I know I'm a side sleeper. Even when I try not to be, I end up on one of my sides, and not too often, but you wake up with those sleep lines on your face, and there are dermatologists out there that boast that they can tell just by looking at someone not only whether they're a side sleeper or not, but what side they tend to prefer because of how the skin on that side of the face looks. They insist, I don't know that I've seen this just in my survey of the general population, but they insist that they can tell. Separate from training yourself to sleep on your back as much as possible, and not going so far as to get like a brace or some sort of restraint so you can't turn over, you can consider using a very smooth, soft cotton or satin pillowcase, because that situation is going to create less friction. Your face can kind of glide over it, and it doesn't end up looking like this when you wake up. So honestly, that's my best advice. There really isn't anything else you can do other than training yourself to sleep on your back. But so, like if you have a problem with snoring or other issues, and your spouse is constantly like, seriously, stop. You may need to sleep on your side or your stomach. I think sleeping on your stomach is probably worse than on your side, because stomach sleepers tend to squish their face into the pillow even more. But with apologies to the stomach sleepers out there, I know you can't help it.
Therese Lima asks, are the boosters meant to be serums? With booster and serum, it's confusing to me to understand what to use and when.
They are not meant to be serums. They are a standalone product, a standalone step in the routine that you can. This is the confusing part, because I do this too. There are some nights in my routine where I use one of our serums, and there are some nights that I use one of our boosters as the serum step. So I cleanse, I tone, I put on my exfoliant, and normally the next step at night for me would be serum, but sometimes I'll skip the serum and I'll just do one of our boosters. Some nights, depending on how my skin is looking and acting, I will do the booster and a serum, but then I'll skip moisturizer, because that combination of booster and serum for me gives me enough hydration. So I'll just finish with some eye creamer on my eyes and that's it. The boosters, in terms of how they're distinctive from the serums, the boosters give you a concentrated mix of specialized ingredients, and the serums, they give you a concentrated mix of ingredients too, but they cast a wider net. So there's several different antioxidants, several different replenishing ingredients, and a few skin restoring ingredients that are all formulated to work well together to address the skin type needs and the skin concerns that they're designed for. And then the boosters, I used to say that our boosters supercharge our serums, but Paula likes saying that our boosters supercharge your skin. because we don't want to make it sound, simply because this isn't true, that our serums don't do enough, and so therefore you need the booster too. Like I was telling you earlier, I go back and forth in terms of when I rotate, which one I use and why. We have a lot of people that like combining them, and it can depend on what your needs are. If you have multiple signs of aging and more significant sun damage, yeah, use 2 of our boosters and 1 of our serums. That might be a great combination for you, and there's nothing wrong with that. And that's another reason why all of our boosters have super light, layerable textures. They're not, even the oil booster isn't a heavy product. You can easily layer it with other products in your routine, serums, moisturizers, eye creams, whatever you like.
Issa Bird asks, would layering a toner help retain more moisture? There's this Korean method of doing 7 layers of toner, and I'm wondering if too much moisture would disrupt the skin barrier.
The 7 layer, oh my gosh. The Korean skincare routines are just unbelievable. I mean, to us Western folks, it's just like, really? You go through that many steps, like every day? Here in the States, we're always like, well, how can I do this faster? How can I downsize? Is this multitasking? First of all, you don't need to layer 7 products labeled toner. That's silly. If you're doing that, I suspect you're not getting as much as you could out of a single product. You should never have to layer extra products in a given step to make up for the fact that whatever brand you're using isn't creating great formulas. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, Ellie? Okay. In terms of giving your skin too much moisture so that the barrier is disrupted, it's really more a concern about giving skin too much water. And given the other ingredients, even when a product like a toner or an essence is water-based, and most of them are, you're getting those other supporting hydrating ingredients that keep the water from disrupting your skin's barrier and causing moisture loss. So I don't think that would be a problem. I do think it's a problem if you're layering 7 products labeled toner. If you want to use a routine that has 7 products, each one distinctive, that's great, and I think that can work beautifully for a lot of people. And you can even step back a bit during the day if, in the interest of saving time. Maybe during the day you don't apply your toner and exfoliant, you're just cleansing, you're doing your serum for the antioxidant boost, maybe a booster if you need one, and then you're doing your daytime moisturizer with sunscreen. You move on to makeup, and you've got a skincare makeup routine that has you out of your bathroom in 10 minutes. It is possible.
Brendan Everett Salazar is wondering, will the efficacy of my PC cleanser, toner, BHA liquid, and body cream have an effect when traveling and transferring to a travel-size clear plastic bottle?
I do that, and I haven't noticed a drop in effectiveness. But I also, when I do that, I put a little sticky tab on, or a piece of Scotch tape or masking tape, and then I take a Sharpie and put the date that I last filled it, and I don't let them go longer than 2 or 3 months before I dump out whatever's left, wash out the bottles. Some of them are dishwasher safe, so that's of course the easiest route. If they're not, just put some dishwashing liquid in, shake it up, then dump it out, let them air dry. But yeah, it's all about replenishing it frequently enough that the product really doesn't have enough time to go bad.
Sundown Skylar is wondering about vitamin C and niacinamide together. There's this rumor that another skincare company started that stated that you can't use them together as the vitamin C deactivates the niacinamide. Thoughts?
I've seen various reports on that. Some people are saying that the combination of vitamin C and niacinamide causes the niacinamide to convert to a form that is more likely to cause a flushing type reaction, almost like a rosacea type effect. And then I've also seen instances where one or the other renders the other one ineffective. I've never seen any research, modern research, showing that to be the case. Oftentimes what these studies are looking at is pure vitamin C, how pure vitamin C and pure vitamin B3, is niacinamide, react in an aqueous solution, and then they combine them and then they see what happens. That is not the same as how those ingredients are used and formulated in skincare products, where a chemist knows that they're designed to work together. Both niacinamide and vitamin C and multiple forms of vitamin C they've become common enough that at least the chemists that we work with, and there are several of them, they're aware that people are using products that contain both of those ingredients, and they formulate around any potential incompatibility issues. But really, in the broad sense of it, unless you're just looking at pure concentrations under carefully controlled conditions in a lab, you're not going to see that. And even the whole conversion thing, where there's this worry that if you have rosacea or sensitive skin, the niacinamide is going to convert to niacin or another variation that can potentially cause flushing. The amount needed and the amount of time it takes for that to happen would just never occur with skincare. So there's no reason to worry about it. Really, bottom line. And we have several customers that use vitamin C and niacinamide in the same products, or they layer products that contain higher amounts of those ingredients, and they get great results. So that wouldn't be the case if those ingredients were canceling each other out.
Brianna Marquez is moving from Las Vegas to Reno, and she says she'll be experiencing a climate change.
Yep.
I have a full regimen already with you guys, but do you have any tips? Thanks.
So Reno being closer to a large body of water and not as dry as Las Vegas, you're going from an arid environment to an environment that has a higher amount of relative humidity. You might find that your current routine works great. So my first bit of advice would be to keep using your current routine along with the move and see how your skin responds. Don't assume that your skin is going to change to the point where you're going to need to change your products. You could also look at your current routine and swap a few things out in terms of when you apply them. So you may not need to layer as much in your new climate than you did in Las Vegas, because it's so easy to get dehydrated in Las Vegas, and I'm not just talking about the big cocktails. You know those ones they serve in footballs that probably have 2,000 calories? I only did that once. The one thing you might need to change is your moisturizer for both daytime and nighttime, and moving to the type of environment you are going to. I think you'll probably find, if that is the case, that you need to go, if you're using a cream, you can go to a lotion. If you're using a lotion, you might want to use a gel or a thin liquid. Now, if your routine doesn't contain a toner, you could actually try adding a toner to your routine as a means of it being your moisturizer, and see, if you have, did she say what skin type she has?
No.
Okay, so if you have normal to oily skin or breakout prone skin, you might find that adding a moisturizing toner to your routine can be great, as opposed to experimenting with several different textures of moisturizers to see if you can find one that you like. But good luck with the move.
Betty Tan is wondering if there are special ingredients for treating blue light from cell phones, or is that just marketing? Special ingredient.
This question came up the other day when we were doing our beauty couch for our Facebook. There isn't enough evidence that the blue light, which is really LED light, that's coming from smartphones, is damaging skin. As Paula said, I would be far more concerned about UV light and also concerned about infrared light. And there are not sunscreen ingredients that can protect from infrared light. That is the purview at least for now, of antioxidants. It's one more reason to use a sunscreen that is loaded with antioxidants. It's a nice double benefit for your skin, and you can go even further by putting on an antioxidant serum or antioxidant-loaded moisturizer prior to your sunscreen. For those of you saying, but isn't my sunscreen also my moisturizer? Yes, in most cases it is, which is why I think you would do better with the serum. But if you have dry skin, there's no reason you couldn't layer a moisturizer with antioxidants and a moisturizing sunscreen with antioxidants. Again, with the goal being to give your skin more of those antioxidants to help protect from really all sources of environmental light. But I wouldn't worry about your smartphones. If you are still concerned, there are screen protectors that you can buy that will block that light and not interfere with your ability to see your phone.
Julie Shane says, I use Vaseline Aquaphor for my lips at night. Is that bad for your lips? And
No.
also, if you use SPF in a lip balm, is there danger of accidentally ingesting it?
SPF, I mean, yeah, you are taking in a little bit. You know, you've got the lip balm with sunscreen on while you're eating, for example. Some of that gets transferred to the food, and you know, you're swallowing your food. There's also the issue of licking your lips. I wouldn't be concerned. Those ingredients would simply go through the digestive process and be excreted. They're not accumulating, and we're talking, in terms of ingestion, we're talking trace amounts. And all of the sunscreen ingredients that would be used in lip products have been safety tested and vetted for use in that area. Just as a quick aside, there are certain cosmetic pigments that the FDA deems safe for use in lip products, but not for use in eye products, because they've shown that there isn't a risk of ingestion, but there can be a risk if those pigments get into the eye themselves in terms of causing eye irritation. So there's that difference there. But with the active ingredients in lip balms with sunscreen, I wouldn't be concerned about it. You could always look to titanium dioxide and zinc oxide because those two are just so inert. The trade-off in most cases is going to be a lip balm with sunscreen that makes your lips look bluish white, which isn't the best look. But if you're going to be applying a lipstick on top, go for it. That's fine.
Leonie Simon is dealing with dry but acne-prone skin. Products for dry skin seem to break me out, but acne products always irritate my skin.
This is the toughest scenario to be in. And part of me is just, I'm always so stymied when I hear that, because dry skin, there's acne is triggered in large part by hormones, but then there's also the oil issue, and the more oily your skin is, the more likely you are to experience breakouts and acne, simply because of the fact that the excess oil gets caught in the pore lining, mixes with cellular debris, dead skin cells, and is the great basis for clogs, and then that acne-causing bacteria comes in and essentially snacks on that, which is the whole etiology of what causes a pimple. I know, not very pretty. What I have found to be the best solution for acne and dry skin at the same time, and it sounds like your skin is sensitive as well, it's two things. You want to use the lowest concentration of anti-acne ingredients that you can get away with in terms of striking that balance between getting efficacy but not dryness. And then for your non-acne skincare products, rather than go for the heavier, more emollient products that I would ordinarily recommend for somebody with dry skin, you need to layer thinner textured products, preferably those that are more for normal to oily skin. I know it means extra steps, it kind of sounds like a pain, but from the people that I've counseled on this, they get used to it pretty fast. And it can be as simple as, for example, using a creamier cleanser, not a moisturizing cleanser, not necessarily a cleansing cream or a cleansing oil, but a moisturizing cleanser like our Moisture Boost, like our Calm Cleanser, for normal to dry skin, like our Resist Optimal Results Hydrating Cleanser. Any of those would be great. And then I would follow with the Resist Advanced Replenishing Toner, and then do a thinner serum, like I think our Calm what is it called? Redness Relief? Calm Redness Relief Serum would be great. That's got some wonderful lightweight but substantially hydrating ingredients, some soothing agents to help reduce those visible signs of redness. And then you can, that can be your daytime routine, topped with a gentle mineral-based lightweight moisturizer with SPF 30, like our Calm Redness Relief Moisturizer for normal to oily skin. You might find that adding one of our boosters to your routine, like the hyaluronic acid booster, can give you that extra step of hydration that you would normally be getting from a heavier cream. And then at night, you could take two lighter weight, you could do a booster with a lightweight serum, and then a I wanted to say middle of the road, but a lotion type moisturizer, or even our Omega Serum. So like your routine at night could be that creamier cleanser, the Resist Toner, the Advanced Replenishing Toner. You would use, next step you'd use one of our BHA exfoliants, and I would suggest our Calm 1% BHA lotion. You could follow with our benzoyl peroxide product from the Clear line, the Daily Skin Clearing Treatment, regular strength. And if you want, you could apply the BHA all over, apply the benzoyl peroxide product only to those active breakouts. Especially if you notice that when you apply benzoyl peroxide all over your face, if that causes some dryness, just spot apply that product. Then you can follow with one of our serums, like the Resist Ultralight Super Antioxidant Concentrate, or the Calm Serum that I mentioned earlier. And then you finish with a lightweight lotion textured moisturizer. I would say the Calm Redness Relief Moisturizer for normal to oily skin. I would also suggest you take a look at the Resist Anti-Aging Clear Skin Hydrator. All of those products that I mentioned are very gentle. The benzoyl peroxide product, ours is actually a very gentle benzoyl peroxide product, but despite the best formulary efforts, some people just have a sensitivity to benzoyl peroxide. If you find that to be the case with you, you may need to just cut that ingredient out altogether and talk to your dermatologist about other options that you could use to keep your acne under control without making your dry skin worse.
And we're running out of time, but let's close out with a fun question.
It's been some good questions, you guys.
Which major in college or university would you recommend to be in a similar career path as you?
You know, it depends. I have such an unusual job, and that I do a bunch of different things that are really all in the interest of helping you, not only with Paula's Choice products, but with the information that we provide that I really don't think you can get too many other places, if anywhere else, and it's a privilege. If I were planning out this type of career back when I was, looking at colleges, I would probably veer towards the sciences and getting a degree in cosmetics chemistry. And then I would look at getting a secondary degree or minoring in one of the English language arts, writing type fields, creative writing, journalism, which is what that was my path in college. I think those two, if you're interested in producing both written content, video content, and then also the formulary side of the cosmetics industry. There's also marketing fields you could go into that, depending on your interests and your talents, could also be great. So there's different ways you could go. There isn't one firm like, oh, if you just get this degree and this degree, then you can do what I do. And a lot of what I do is self-taught and just from years and years of experience. And just being curious about how things work and why things are the way they are, and asking questions and wanting to find out, to the best of my ability, the truth. The what's possible and what isn't. And a lot of that, from my perspective, came from perhaps being in the same place that you guys have been in the past, which is being frustrated about products not working as claimed, frustrated about spending too much money, frustrated about using products that promised to make my skin better and it only made it worse. And I know how demoralizing that can feel, especially when you're spending every last dollar on what you think is going to be the answer, and it's not, and you get to the point where you feel like it's your fault, and it isn't. So one of the great joys of doing what I do is, like I said at the beginning of this very long answer, is help you get to the bottom of things and help you feel empowered to make your own decisions. Not necessarily doing exactly what we say to do, because, form your own opinion. Come up with your own options and solutions based on reliable factual information, not myths and misinformation, which is really just going to take you down the wrong path. And Allie's telling me that I have to stop. Okay, so we'll be back, I don't know when, to do this, but we are planning on doing this type of thing more often. I love this opportunity to engage with you guys. I appreciate your taking the time and your questions, and enjoy the rest of your day wherever you are. And thank you for supporting us, for supporting Paula's Choice, and for spreading the word about what we do. Until next time.